debt of brick and mortar.
Retail apocalypse.
Retail sales, it's literally gone off a cliff.
There's something strange to me about the reporting on the death of retail.
The decline of Bed Bath & Beyond's share price.
The focus isn't on job losses. That would be one thing.
Macy's is closing another 100 stores.
Concerning? Yes.
The focus usually isn't on what happens to a community when a big retailer closes. That would be another thing.
We hope to bring back a workforce, but the e-com side of things, those people who have bet on e-com are surviving because they just have lower fixed costs. Some of these brands are just, we can run it with 20 or 30 good programmers, what they might have had 300,
And if we don't care about the affected employees or what happens to an area when a mall shuts down, I'm not sure why we should care at all that these places are closing or losing ground to online sales from Amazon, because after all, big box stores and malls are kind of the original Amazon anyway.
Shoppers could walk in and just find anything from sort of oddball
Malls
kitchen
and stores
gadgets
that are
to
simply never going to reopen because people are not in the stores and are not buying.
That's all you've got here, folks. Mile after mile of mall after mall. Many, many malls, major malls and mini malls. They put the mini malls in between them.
My name is Spencer Snyder, and welcome to Breaking Points. As America was becoming a huge driving nation, using highways to access places that otherwise would have been inconvenient or inaccessible, you had people trying to capitalize on this new access. So imagine we have this huge plot of land on the edge of town. It used to be way out of the way, but now that there's a highway running right by it, it's kind of convenient to get to. What do? We could make parks or schools or community centers. Well, how exactly would any of those things pay off for a developer? No, let's make some cash instead. Enter the architect of the modern mall, Victor Gruen. He imagined essentially a planned shopping town in which the anarchy and ugliness of American cities would not be found. Guards would keep people safe, there would be a single uniform aesthetic, even the street noise would be replaced with pleasant music. The preponderance of chains and franchises over local stores, required by big investors such as insurance companies, brought shoppers the latest national trends and products and merchandising techniques. Not only were these places in competition with the already existing downtown shopping areas, since they were located away from other shopping and had every type of shop you could want, people were more likely to do all of their shopping at the mall. In 1957, New Jersey opened 2 malls, and in 1958, 435 families were asked about how those malls had affected where they shop. They found that a majority of families had already changed their buying patterns, and 5% of families had completely abandoned their old shopping areas. That's after just 1 year. People understood this was happening. There's been legislation trying fruitlessly to level the playing field between big business and small businesses since the 1800s. But the mall is a new thing, and it has some people a little freaked out. So big stores in downtown areas organize National Downtown Week Incorporated. They're trying to steal some of the business back from these malls. In 1959, 250 cities participated in National Downtown Week. It was serious enough that the Shopping Center Reporter, which I'm assuming was some kind of mall-oriented trade publication, warned these malls that this was coming and they needed to take whatever action they could to get ahead of this. But it didn't matter anyway, because in the long run, National Downtown Week was going to be as effective at bringing people to shop at independent businesses as when American Express encourages you to do the same.
Small Business Saturday by American Express is November 30th.
By the 70s and 80s, malls were all across the country. An anchor store like a Macy's or Sears or JCPenney would draw people in, and then people would do the rest of their shopping there at the mall because they were there anyway. But obviously the issue is not just malls, because the same principles that allow malls to do so well also apply to big box stores. The Walmart effect is when a Walmart comes to town, drives down wages, and causes businesses to close. On average, within 15 months of a new Walmart store's opening, as many as 14 existing retail establishments close. Now, Walmart's one of the biggest employers in the country, so not every big box store has the same power to disrupt a community as Walmart, but they're on the same spectrum, because the point is, why would you ever go to your locally owned store where they might have what you need, when you could go to a big box store where they will have what you need? Hey, where would lighting fixtures be? Okay. Conversely, I think the country has become so conditioned to the convenience of the giant shopping center that it's become an object of nostalgia and mourning. Channels devoted to dead malls feature tours of these shopping centers that killed downtowns and enriched developers and sold us on the idea that hanging out with your friends in proximity to both a Hot Topic and a Panda Express is somehow culture. But the culture and the community thing with regard to the mall is completely immaterial anyway. It was always about offering shopping that was so convenient and so cheap that it just couldn't be refused, even if you'd like to. And for half a century, that was malls and big box stores. But the way the highway made it more possible for a mall to monopolize regional shopping, the internet makes it possible for Amazon to monopolize shopping in general. Amazon makes up 38% of online retail. In second place is Walmart with only 6%. Amazon is doing exactly what malls were doing 60 years ago by creating a cheap, one-stop shopping center. But what is especially scary, Amazon is so massive and monopolistic, they don't simply put smaller businesses out of service, Amazon absorbs them. 60% of the sales on Amazon are actually small businesses. Many small businesses find it impossible to go without using Amazon's platform, and occasionally, because Amazon has a hand in manufacturing as well, a small business will find that their biggest selling item is now an Amazon Basic, killing off their own sales. After all, Amazon refers to the small businesses that use them as internal competitors. And for the dead malls that Amazon no doubt had a hand in closing, Amazon is buying them too and turning them into fulfillment centers. But for all the cooing about small businesses being the backbone of the country, we've never actually cared. To observe this, all you need to do is compare how many headlines there are about small businesses getting iced out because of rent, to how many headlines there are about big box stores losing ground in the e-commerce game. The idea of having a little shop and employing your kids and being self-sufficient is a great story, but being satisfied and content is mutually opposed to the infinite growth that big businesses are absolutely committed to. So the decline of mom and pop shops doesn't get headlines because they were never the point. They were just the pretty image on the packaging of America. And for that matter, the impact on workers when big retailers come into town and then leave town, that doesn't get much attention because they're not the point either. I think the real reason the closing of retail gets attention is that some people are truly surprised that the unprecedented concentration of retail that we saw in the 20th century is beginning to collapse under the weight of the unprecedented concentration of retail in the 21st century. But that will do it for me. I'm Spencer Snyder. If you found this video interesting, make sure you are subscribed to Breaking Points. You can also check out my YouTube channel where I talk all about media and politics and some other interesting things. Link in the description. Liking and sharing always helps. Thank you to Breaking Points. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.